Welcome back to In Between. I'm Melanie Elaine, Pusika Uchup, walking the red road. Paid through blood, of course, as a dialysis patient. The road between what people think they know about this journey and what is actually true. Today's episode is what I've been seeing for years, both inside the dialysis clinic and outside of it. It's the weight of false intimacy. This episode is named The Price of a Miracle. Why some people can't handle your survival. This is specifically siphoned out from the ethers, out from that dark place, for those who have ever been siphoned from or expected to carry burdens that were never theirs from those around them who witnessed their strength. When grievances become gossip. Lately, I've been sitting with something heavy, not because it belongs to me, but because it was handed to me by someone I cared for. This developing friendship, a former sister in spirit, started taking her grievances about me to her mother, and no telling who else. Not truths, not conversations or real concerns where I was present in the room, but her fears, her own shame, her own projections. It slipped out while on a separate phone call recently. What she had spoke with her mother was the idea that no one can tell me what to do, as if my boundaries are a rebellion, as if my autonomy is disrespect, as if my strength, curated by the Creator and the Divine, is stubbornness. But here's what people don't understand: I am not hard headed, I am hard earned. I am not defiant. I am disciplined. I am not unteachable. I am unshakable. So I sat with it, and then it hit me. The only person that did this was the one that I gave my medicine to. The only reason someone would interpret my groundedness as defiance is because they have never learned to stand in themselves. She wasn't talking to her mother about who I actually am. She was talking about the version of me that her wounds created, the version of me that wanted to be celebrated. That made her feel small. She was speaking about the version of me in her head that she projected her childhood onto. And that's the danger of false intimacy. People think they're just, describing you, but they're really describing the parts of themselves that they refuse to face. God forbid I stood as a woman in front of her now and not the friend she had lost from a time before. All of that has nothing to do with my heart. This is where the weight begins, both inside and outside of the clinic walls, where the line between connection and projection gets blurred. Because if you can't face yourself, you always misinterpret the person who can. When the clinic becomes a mirror for other people's wounds. What happened with my former friend isn't separate from what I've experienced in the dialysis clinic. It's the same pattern, just wearing different faces. Because in the clinic, I've watched patients and staff project their own unresolved wounds onto me. People who've only seen, my medical records, they somehow feel entitled to interpret my spirit, my history, my silence, my strength. Some patients talk behind my back because I didn't give them a reaction that they wanted: a hello, a laugh, a look, acknowledgement. And some staff members have assumed they understood my character because they see me on a few tired days. Some men have gotten angry because I didn't reciprocate their flirting. Others call me snotty because I wasn't smiling through the pain that particular day. But here's what they do not see: I am fighting for my life and accepting death every time I sit in that dialysis chair. And when people see someone like me who is grounded, who is spiritually anchored, and who refuses to crumble in front of them, it triggers something in them. As what I mentioned before, they're not seeing me. They are seeing the reflection of their own unhealed places. And that's the issue, again, of false intimacy in the clinic. People think proximity equals understanding. They think shared suffering equals shared spirit. They think they know your heart, but not simply, don't. I paid the price for holding space for so many dialysis patients. I've listened to their stories, carried their grief. I've listened to everything. I've absorbed their fears, taken on their spiritual weight because I didn't know how to let go. And I equated my worth through carrying everybody's shit. Because when you're already fighting for your life, you cannot carry the emotional and spiritual burdens of people who refuse to carry their own. And because I have a healer's heart, because I see through the anger they'd share, through the jealousy, through the bitterness, I took it on. But I'm not doing that anymore. This goes for the staff too. Just because we see another at most 3 times a week doesn't mean they know our soul. I refuse to let anyone, patient or staff, or anyone else that matter outside of the clinic, to decipher my spirit, returning the weight that isn't mine. And after all of this, the projections, the misreadings, over time, on these lovely 9 years of extended life, I had to draw a line, a real one this time, a sacred one. Like, you need to sit in your silence. You need to face yourself. You need to stop going back to the same broken source and calling it wisdom. I refuse to carry it. I have shed so much blood to stand where I am now. And here's a deeper truth: people who have never learned to hold themselves will always resent the person who refuses to hold them. And one thing for certain is that those of us who have paid in blood are not here to bleed out. This is a sacred barrier. I will walk with you, but I will not walk for you. I will pray with you, but I will not fight battles you keep resurrecting. I will love you, but I will not lose myself in the process. I am not who I was, or you weren't who you were before dialysis, before the red road, before the battles you survived. Don't ever allow people to mistake familiarity for intimacy. They don't understand where your heart rests now. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here in the in between with me. Until next time.